Hello, this is MauriceDaBeast welcoming you to Sovereign's Rise. This video is focused on explaining various mechanical techniques as they show up in the highlights of this match, including what went especially well and what backfired. Let's begin. For first buy for top laners, you can't go wrong with a book of eulogies for sustain followed by light armor into both Vox in the opposing bot lane and their ganking Rona jungle. After being patient for the wave to crash, it's best to focus on securing farm under tower. The majority of 1v2s level 1 will not go in your favor, so wait until later before attempting such. My target ping was to indicate that Rona has not yet been into her jungle, so we could contest her red orb if we could rotate. Thanks to a proper rotation through the river bush, Vox was unable to see Catherine coming until too late. Overextensions in lane can lead to easy gank setups, so be cautious when you lack vision control. As I knew red orb was still up, I rotated for a risky yet potentially crippling aggressive jungle rotation. Unfortunately, this did not go in my favor. The slow from Rona's into the fray and the passive slow from red orb made escaping somewhat difficult, but thankfully Tony was actively rotating to my position as I was retreating. In this play, Samuel comboed his mouse and verdict with his heroic perk, so his second hit from his A ability hit me simultaneously with his empowered auto, taking me into reboot before my prime directive. Even though I could have cleared this camp sooner, I waited for Celeste to get within range so we both got gold and experience, maximizing our team's gain. When you have an advantage as a laner, it is critical to pressure your opponent whenever possible. So long as you have proper vision, of course. This also allows you to rotate into the enemy jungle if you know the jungle timers, to gain even more of a lead. While ahead, minor tower dives are typically permissible for 1v1s. However, try never to tank more than 1 or 2 hits unless you're confident you can clean up. As I saw the opponent's scout cam, I knew they were about to attempt to contest me. To effectively secure the red orb, I saved my highest damage ability, my prime directive, until the red orb was just slow enough for me to secure it with just that move, preventing the Vox steal from an auto attack. I then used my sprint in an attempt to catch him, as a quick auto would have meant his death from the red orb slow. He sprinted to prevent that. As I had the level lead and red orb, I continued forcing Vox under turret to prevent him from being able to farm. Bonus tip, it is possible to both jungle shop and clear top healing train at the same time. While slower than a direct clear, it can save a bit of time if you're in a rush. Be wary though, by doing so, you are clearing slower, more susceptible to roots, and more likely to be sighted in the river, as Rona did to me just now. Unfortunately for them, this attempt to catch me out backfired, as they were now caught in the river jungle shop area by a rotating Tony and Catherine. I used Rona with my prime directive to boomerang to Vox, and Catherine saved her stun for the moment Rona used her into the fray, negating her AoE slow and allowing an easy kill steal for me. Using directional abilities with short cooldowns at your allies can be a nice small way to show your appreciation for their assistance, and boost team camaraderie. While trading blows under turret may seem overzealous, as I prioritize defense and have a significant level lead, I remained relatively unscathed. A popular tactic while ahead or attempting to siege a turret is holding the enemy wave hostage behind the tier 1 turret, which can force your opponent to clear under turret, causing potential loss in CS and more of a lead for you. This can be risky without proper vision as it makes you vulnerable to ganks, so do it at your own discretion. My first major mistake of the match was an improperly placed scout cam. This normally isn't the end of the world, but the enemy was actually in a fantastic position to double or potentially triple team me, so I sprinted out before they could capitalize on my misplay. This is where the fun begins. As mid lane was thoroughly pushed, Celeste and Tony focused their attention top lane. With Tony seen by Vox, Vox properly sprinted out of my prime directive as he otherwise would have been picked off from a tower dive. Celeste, however, had other plans and properly saved her core collapse until Vox had sonic zoomed, leaving him without an escape. As we have 3 people and a wave, we quickly push into their tier 2 turret. By directing turret aggro at me by hitting Arden, we saved the last minion from being taken, which would have reactivated the turret's shield. This is my second major mistake of the match. I anticipated narrowly escaping Samuel's ultimate, but I got snagged right at the end, putting me in a vulnerable state. Thankfully, the enemy were in a poor position and Tony zoned them off of me. If I were wiser, I would have followed Tony and backed up the moment I saw the Oblivion thrown out. As bot was getting pressured here, we attempted to apply some pressure mid lane. Once again, I used my prime directive to boomerang. It's technically not an overextend if you survive. In a match that wasn't about to end, starting an objective such as Black Claw or Ghost Wing is usually a phenomenal idea after an ace. Remember, thumbs up your allies and opponents if it was a good match. Whew, I did it. Alright, thank you so much for watching and see you next time on Sovereign's Rise. This has been MauriceDaBeast. Woosah.